With Fallout 76 gaining some massive growth recently, with new and returning players flooded in, I decided to write down a bunch of things I wish I knew when I started playing again. So if you're new to Fallout 76 or you're a returning player just like me, hopefully you'll learn a couple of useful things. So here are 20 tips and tricks all new and returning players should know. Let's get into it. When you're rolling through the Wasteland, make sure to pick up and scrap any extra weapons and pieces of armor, even if you don't think you're going to need it. Not only will this give you a bucket load of materials to be able to use in the future, but anytime you scrap a weapon or piece of armor, you have a chance to unlock recipes or modifications for that piece of armor. So not only is it worth it for the scrap, it's also worth it for the modifications you may unlock. Don't worry about specific builds until you're around or above level 50. Experiment, find weapons you like, maybe use perk cards to benefit the weapon. Once you reach endgame, that's when you should start looking at different builds. But for now, just enjoy your time. Here's a big one. Make sure you explore, especially if you've never played a Fallout game before. Exploration is one of Fallout's best assets. You never know what you're going to find. Stories, items, places. Oh, there's a random shack off in the distance. Go check it out. You never know what could be hidden. Avoid shooting high level players, or players at all. This game's PvP system works on kind of like a handshake system. So for PvP, when you attack someone, you will do minimal to zero damage until they attack back. Once they've attacked back, you can fight. Although I believe there's balance scaling, high level players will have optimized builds and will absolutely destroy you. When you die, you will lose any junk you're holding. Do note though, you can actually fully turn this off in the settings by turning on the passive option, and I'd recommend doing that if you don't plan PvP at all. When you're playing alone, make sure to join a public team. Even if you aren't planning on playing with other players, make sure to just join or create a public team. Depending on the team type, you'll get certain benefits for just being in a team. For example, a casual team will give you a buff to your intelligence, which in turn will help increase your XP. You will also earn caps when your teammates complete quests. Even if you're not close to them, you will still get these buffs. So it's highly recommended you just join a casual team. Pretty much every high player will do this. Now that you're in a public team, avoid spending a bunch of caps fast traveling large distances. Fast traveling can cost a lot of caps, and the further away, the more caps it costs. To reduce these costs, you can fast travel to a teammate's camp for free, as well as a couple of other locations, such as Vault 76, Crater, Foundation, Fort Atlas, and a few more. Fast travel to these, and then fast travel or walk to where you need to go, and it'll save you so many caps over time. Do not buy ammo from vending machines, or items from vendors, unless you really need to. Ammo is very expensive from vending machines, and if you need to buy ammo, try buying it from other player camps. The going rate for most ammo types from other players is 1 cap, so it'll save you a lot of money buying from other players. Most players will also stick their known plans in their shops, and a lot of the time it'll be cheaper than the NPC vendors. Not always, but most of the time. If you're going to buy from a vendor, make sure to have the hard bargain perk card active, and this will allow you to buy for less and sell to NPC vendors for more. This doesn't work from player vendors though. Don't worry too much about ammo. Fallout 76 has a feature where if you kill enemies, they're very likely to drop ammo for the weapon that you killed them. For example, if you're killing enemies with a 10mm pistol, there's a good chance they'll drop 10mm ammo. So make sure you are looting every enemy you kill, just to save on some ammo. You may notice some red donation boxes scattered around Appalachia, usually around train stations, but they're also in some other areas. These are places where players can place items in for other players to take. Don't feel bad about taking items, that's what it's there for. And if you have some items you don't need, feel free to drop them in these boxes for other players to take. Avoid selling or scrapping your spare legendary items. Instead, sell your legendaries at the legendary exchange machines. These are usually found outside train stations, but can also be found in some hotspot locations. You will receive legendary script when you exchange them, and you can receive up to 500 per day. These can be used with the purveyor at the Rusty Pick. Here you can buy random legendary weapons and items, but you can also buy legendary modules. These will allow you to add legendary effects to a piece of armor or a weapon. I wouldn't recommend buying the random legendary weapons and items. However, I would recommend just buying the legendary modules. These will come in handy in the future, especially when going for certain roles or certain builds. Junk and ammo can weigh a lot. If you have Fallout first, make sure you're taking advantage of the scrap box and ammo box. These can hold an unlimited amount of resources and ammo respectively. Even if your Fallout first expires, it will still hold the items, you just won't be able to put any more in them. If you don't have Fallout first, be mindful of the items in your stash box. Get rid of items you know you won't need, and make sure you scrap stuff down into components, because that usually weighs a little less than the actual full-on items. Another storage tip for you is that power armor pieces can weigh a lot. Some even £15 per piece. However, a power armor frame only weighs £10, no matter how many pieces of armor that are on these frames. So make sure to put your power armor pieces on your frames and then store the frame in your stash box. This trick can save you hundreds of pounds of storage. Make sure to take part in public events. Even if you're a low level than recommended, as long as there's other players there, especially higher level players, these will usually carry you through events. Events are a great source of XP, ammo, food, meds, plans, with many events having exclusive plans for useful items and camps items. Do note, even if you die in an event, you will not lose junk, and you can still get the rewards and take part as long as you don't leave the area. Hovering over the events on your map will tell you some info about them, such as rewards, how many players are there, and the recommended level. So make sure you take part, otherwise you're missing out. Don't be scared about taking items such as purified water or food from people's camps. If they didn't want you taking them, they'd probably just lock it up. However, if you know they're a low level, maybe don't. They may not know they can lock resources and they may need it. If you're a power armor user and you're anything like me, you don't like the chunky power armor you want. You can actually turn this off in the display settings. Go to settings, go to display, and under the enable power armor HUD options, turn it off. Now, when you're running around in power armor, your UI is going to look exactly the same as when you're out of power armor. It even adds a little extra bit to show how much power left in your fusion coil. Fallout 76 has a paid currency called atoms. Did you know that you can actually earn a significant amount of these in-game? If you go to your map, click on challenges, your daily and weekly challenges will give you points towards the season pass, but the other tabs are generic challenges you will unlock while playing the game. These can reward you with atoms as well as other things such as perk card packs and perk points. There are plenty of passive effects that may be very useful for you. For example, sleeping in a bed will give you a 5% XP buff for an hour. Some food and camp items may also give other buffs, such as increased special stats, more XP, reduced hunger, so make sure you ain't missing out on these, because although 5 XP doesn't sound like much, over an hour that could be a lot of XP. Make sure to check the atomic shop every day. Even if you aren't planning on spending items or real life money, regularly there's going to be a bunch of free items in there. Maybe some items for your camp, some repair toolkits, or even a scrap bundle. Usually you'll see a little free icon next to the atomic shop, but it's worth checking anyway. If you're after a specific resource, say for a modification or a recipe you're wanting to craft, you can press a button to mark that resource. Now anytime you come across a piece of junk that contains that resource, it will have a magnifying glass next to its name, so it makes it a lot easier to scope out and find junk with the components you need. Although not being fully fed or hydrated has any negatives, if you are well fed and hydrated, there are many bonuses you will receive. Fully hydrated will give you a +1 endurance, 35% action point regen, and 35% disease resistance. Being fully fed will give you an extra 35 to your max HP, +1 to your strength, and another 35% disease resistance. So it's always worth drinking them purified water and eating the Blamco mac and cheese. Now here's a little extra bonus tip for you, because I'm feeling generous. If you find a lookout tower while exploring the map, make sure you head to the top of it. It'll give you the option to survey the land, and it will mark a couple of locations in the area on your map. These locations will be greyed out so you can't fast travel to it. However, it gives you a couple new places to explore and lets you see what's in the area, so make sure you check them out. If you learned something new today, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and if you have any tips of your own, leave them down in the comments for some other people to see. I'm Mahano, and goodbye.